Hastings, a town steeped in history, holds within its embrace a tale as unique as it is fascinating: the story of America Ground. This small piece of land, now seamlessly integrated into the fabric of the town, was once a world apart, a testament to the audacity of hope and the complexities of land ownership.
Our story begins with the relentless action of the sea depositing layers of silt onto the Hastings shoreline. This newly formed land, known as a groat, initially appeared as an unassuming stretch of mud and sand.
To the fishermen and working-class families of Hastings, struggling to make ends meet in the crowded confines of the old town, this nascent land offered a glimmer of hope.
Word spread quickly about the emerging land, and intrepid souls began to see the groat not as a wasteland, but as a land of opportunity. Among the first to settle were fishermen seeking to escape the exorbitant rents charged in the heart of Hastings.
The early settlers of America Ground were a hardy and resourceful bunch. With little more than determination and a few salvaged materials, they began to construct their humble homes.
Life on the groat was harsh and unpredictable, yet the settlers persevered, bound together by a shared sense of purpose and a fierce spirit of independence.
As the community grew, so too did its ambitions. Small businesses began to emerge, catering to the needs of the settlers. A blacksmith set up shop, his anvil ringing out across the groat as he fashioned tools and repaired fishing gear. A makeshift tavern became a hub for socializing and sharing news. Even a schoolhouse, rudimentary though it may have been, was established to ensure that the children of America Ground received some semblance of an education.
The settlers began to refer to their fledgling community as America Ground, reflecting their belief in their right to self-determination. The spirit of defiance that permeated America Ground reached its zenith on a momentous summer day in 1827.
On July 4th, 1827, amidst much celebration and fanfare, the residents of America Ground gathered to declare their independence.
The declaration read, in part, "We, the inhabitants of this free and independent territory, do hereby declare our right to live and work upon this land, free from the interference of any landlord or government."
The declaration was met with a mix of amusement and consternation by the local authorities. Some dismissed it as the harmless posturing of a group of squatters, while others recognized the potential threat to established order. The Declaration of Independence did little to deter those who claimed legal ownership of America Ground. The local council, viewing the settlers as trespassers, sought to assert its authority over the burgeoning community.
Legal notices were served, demanding that the settlers vacate the land. The settlers, however, refused to be dislodged from the homes and businesses they had worked so hard to build.
A protracted legal battle ensued, pitting the impoverished but determined settlers against the full might of the local authorities.
The settlers found an unlikely ally in a young, idealistic lawyer named Howard Kennedy, who argued that the groat should not be subject to traditional land ownership laws.
The legal battle raged on for several years, attracting attention from far beyond the confines of Hastings. The legal battle over America Ground eventually reached the highest court in the land.
The court recognized the Crown's historical claim to the foreshore and deemed the settlers' occupation of America Ground to be unlawful. In 1835, the inevitable came to pass. Armed with the full force of the law, Crown officials descended upon America Ground to evict the settlers.
The eviction was not a violent affair, but it was nonetheless a heart-wrenching spectacle. Families were forced to watch as the homes they had built with their own hands were torn down.
Despite the setback, the spirit of America Ground lived on. The settlers, though dispersed, carried with them the memory of their time on the groat.
Their story served as a potent reminder that even the most seemingly insignificant of places can become battlegrounds for fundamental principles of justice, fairness, and the right to a place to call one's own. Today, little remains of the physical structures that once stood on America Ground. The tides have long since reclaimed the land, erasing the visible traces of the community that once thrived there.
The spirit of independence and self-reliance that defined America Ground continues to resonate within Hastings.
A plaque now stands on a nondescript street corner, marking the spot where America Ground once stood.
The story of America Ground, though seemingly confined to a small patch of land on the English coast, holds within it universal themes that resonate across time and place. It is a story about the human need for belonging, the importance of community, and the enduring struggle for autonomy and self-determination.